Can this focus? Hey guys, it's Tay Sabs back with another video. So, today's video is going to be kind of just a spew. I'm just gonna spew at my camera for like a half hour and see what comes of it. Basically, finals week is this coming week, so I'm just super busy studying for that and just kind of have a lot going on with like my sorority and school and like figuring out like internships and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to do a video where I kind of just express how I'm feeling at the end of my year. I'm gonna title this video What I Learned My Sophomore Year of College, but I kind of just want to have like a conversation about the mental state that I'm in right now, knowing that in about a week I'm going to be a senior. Let that sink in if you're someone that's been watching me for a while. If you're someone that like watched my college decision video and not like, ew, I'm not allowed to graduate. So without further ado, this is going to be what I learned my second year here at UGA. So if you're someone that's new and you're wondering why I'm a senior when I'm literally a sophomore, I'm considered an out-of-state student even though my parents moved to Georgia recently from Ohio, and it's super expensive, so I'm graduating a year early. That was like the deal I made with my parents when I decided to go out of state for college, was that, okay, you can do that, but it's going to be a little bit more pricey, so graduating a year early, but I'm going to grad school, so I'll be a student for 4 more years, don't you worry. Thank goodness, I would be panicking right now if I was graduating, like graduating, oh my god, no, I have so much ahead of me, so much schoolwork ahead of me. Anyway, so this year was a lot different than my freshman year in the sense where, you know, I'm living in an apartment, I have a dog now, like my parents moved to Georgia, and just so much has changed over the last year. I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned from that is being flexible, especially with like the pandemic and stuff. When I first came back after we were home for quarantine, came back for fall semester, a lot was just like kind of still up in the air. Like we didn't really know like how things were working as far as like doing like half online, half in-person classes. Things were always subject to change, and I think that that goes for a lot of people, saying that you kind of just had to roll with whatever was thrown at you. It's been a lot more stable like spring semester because I feel like we've kind of gotten a grasp on how things are working with this new online school thing. But I definitely did need to learn to kind of just let go of the fact that I, you know, couldn't control everything. It was frustrating that I was doing classes online and it didn't feel like I had that like academic social life that I really like having, like class friends. Hello, Izzy. So that was a little bit hard for me, but I'm definitely not alone in that sense. I feel like a lot of people are kind of feeling the same way, where they're very excited to go back and meet people in their classes and have those friends that, you know, you like wouldn't meet otherwise. The next thing. So when I went home to Ohio last year for quarantine, I was so excited to come back to UGA, and I was like, you know what, like this is all gonna go away. It's all gonna be fine when we get back to school. It's gonna be just like freshman year. It's gonna be so fun. Moral of the story there is no one knew COVID would last this long. Or at least I didn't think it would. But here we are. And you know, we came back and the pandemic was still going on and things just weren't the same. And that was something that was really frustrating for me, just because I had all these hopes when we were like sitting there at home and I was like, oh, but it'll be fine because we'll be back in school soon. And the fact that this entire year was also online was something that I kind of had to come to terms with. So I think when you go into your sophomore year, you have to really accept the fact that it's going to be super different from freshman year. My idea of college was dorm life and going to class and all of that kind of stuff and like having so much fun as a freshman, and suddenly like those things just weren't happening anymore, and I wasn't seeing like my hallmates as often or really ever. So that was something that was hard, but I really did learn like who my, I guess, real friends are, like the people that I hang out on like a daily basis or still talk to. So that's like a good feeling. Like I feel like I'm in a good place with that, but that's definitely a thing sophomore year. You feel a lot more isolated when you move off campus. Like I love having an apartment, but it's definitely like not being in a dorm in combination with not having classes was like, wow, I really hang out with like the same 2 people every day, which, you know, it's fine, but that was something that's definitely different about sophomore year, where you kind of have to get used to it. The next thing I learned my sophomore year is you have to learn to take your mental health and like self-care into your own hands. Basically what I mean by that is, you know, I moved off campus, I'm not on a meal plan, I don't have like, in our dorms we had people that came in and like cleaned our bathrooms for us, all that kind of stuff. No, I don't have that anymore, and it really felt like I was a real adult when I came into an apartment. So I did have to learn to really emphasize like the things that really do make me happy, and I take that into my own hands.
This answer was so all over the place. Like, it was such a terrible explanation. This is what I'm saying by this. When you're a sophomore in college, especially if you are someone that lives like off campus in an apartment, you're not as limited during your day and like with your schedule and stuff. Like, you don't really have to follow like dining hall hours, or like if your dorm has quiet hours, that kind of stuff. You have complete control over your schedule, especially this year because everything was like online. So I needed to just take a step back and schedule out things that I was gonna do to make sure that I'm, you know, checking in on myself, being happy. Like, certain things, like having a little self-care night, like they can make or break your week, because you can start to get super overwhelmed with classes or clubs or anything that you're doing in your college experience. So if you don't take time and schedule it yourself and take that into your own hands, it can get really, really difficult really quickly.
Also, a piece of advice, if you get an apartment and you're ever feeling really cramped and stressed and overwhelmed, that you need to just leave your apartment constantly, just clean your room. That's like that happens to me constantly. Like, I'll have like no time because I never have free time, and I will just throw things around. My room's actually a mess right now, which makes me kind of upset, but like, just to take one night, like a week, and just deep clean is so nice. It's so nice. My mom's probably gonna laugh at me when she sees this, because she would love to hear me say that, but it just, you need like a fresh start going into the week. This year especially, if I start on like a Monday and like my room's a mess, I don't have all my week like planned out, I don't even know what tests I have that week, it's just like so much worse, and it's so worth it to like sit down on Sundays and make sure everything in your week is planned out so that you don't miss things, because that's going to be 10 times more frustrating if you do. For example, like through my position in my sorority, we do a lot of like photo shoots and that kind of stuff that I need to be present at because I run our marketing department, and like we get that schedule at the beginning of the semester. Like, they put it out to the chapter, you know exactly when everything's going to be, and I put that right in my planner so that I know where I have to be, and if I happen to have a test that week, I know how to plan around it and make sure I study a little bit extra in advance. That has been so helpful, and I feel like I really like get my life more on track, and it's much less frustrating for me when I do have things to do and don't necessarily have a lot of time to do it. Also this year, I learned how to care for a dog. Right, Isabella? Honestly, having Izzy has taught me so much, because it's like, yeah, in college, I could literally care for no one other than myself if I really wanted to, but now I have this dog who's dependent on me and loves me, and she's so cute. Izzy. Did you hear my spew? Yesterday, Taylor put her vet outfit on because, let's see if I'll get this right, she had orientation for Large Animal Emergency Critical Care Team. Taylor, you can let me know if I got that acronym right. She got like a thing for she's doing summer shifts there, yada yada yada. So she put like her scrubs on, and Izzy hated her for like the entire night. Literally, like she like literally tried to bite her because she looked like a vet. So that's really fun. That was an awesome night for us. So really, like, that's something I learned sophomore year, is don't let anyone near Izzy if they're wearing scrubs. This year I also learned to be a lot more relaxed when it comes to like not beating myself up for things that are like kind of normal, if that makes sense. Yes, I do want to take care of myself, that's not what I'm saying, but like sometimes you want to like eat unhealthy. At 2 in the morning you want to like go to cook out with your friends, or maybe one day you don't have time to work out or something like that. Last year I used to get so upset with myself if I like would eat like a super unhealthy meal at the dining hall, or I would like not walk over to Ramsey, which is our gym at UGA. I would get so upset if I didn't, and this year it's kind of more like I realized that I'm only going to be in college for a limited number of years, and I really just like, if there's an opportunity where people are going to do fun things, I'm not gonna like limit myself because I don't want to like miss working out or like eat something unhealthy, you know? So that's something that was like a personal growth thing, where I'm like, I'm at this point where I want to go do fun things and I don't want to worry about it, because you know what? Eventually I'm gonna graduate and I can have my whole life to not do fun things. Just kidding. So that was something that was a good little personal growth thing, where I like have this nice balance between. The next thing that I had to learn this past semester mostly was that I really just want to do the most that I can with my time that I'm here, but I don't need to like compare myself and like my resume, I guess, with other people all the time. It's just not a healthy mindset to have, honestly. So my new favorite thing, this is so fun and quirky of me, is I love to just scroll through LinkedIn and see like where like the seniors are going, and like, you know, because I know more seniors this year than I did last year, just in like my sorority and like just at UGA in general. So I like to see like what people are doing, where people are going, because I have a genuine interest in that. But sometimes I do that and I'm like, oh my god, people are doing all these cool things and I feel like I don't do anything, but at the same time I feel like I don't really have free time. But now I've come to a point where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do the most I can, and I'm in college, I have a lot of freedom right now to kind of just focus on things that I really, really enjoy. And that's the mindset I've had over a little bit, and I'm super excited about like the extracurriculars that I do. So that's something really important. I feel as if I learned a lot this year about what I truly enjoy, what makes me very happy, and what I'm passionate about. Case in point, freshman year when I was making videos, I didn't really encounter a lot of people that came up to me and they were like, hey, I watch your videos, yada yada yada, because for the most part people watch them prior to coming to UGA. So if I was a freshman, it was like class of 2024 at that time was watching my videos, if that makes sense. But this year, now that all of the people who watched my freshman year videos are here on campus, I've just run into so many people, whether it be on campus or like walking around downtown Athens, like people come up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, your videos were so helpful. And that makes me so happy because that is my goal. Honestly, and I feel like my channel's changed a lot this year to be more like, I guess, educational, to the point where I just want to kind of help incoming freshmen and show them like the real experience at UGA, not just what UGA admissions puts out on like their YouTube, you know? Even though that stuff is also very helpful, but I just think it helps a lot of the time to hear from like real students and their perspectives, not people that are like employed by the university. But with all that being said, I find it very validating when people do say they watch my videos. It makes me super happy. It's a great feeling. And I love you guys. That was repulsive. I also learned a lot about my sources of motivation, especially with online school. First semester, I struggled a lot because when we came back to school, I talked about this earlier, it was just not what I was used to at all. When we first got put online, the end of my freshman year when we got sent home, it wasn't awful. Like everything was like open note because it was like a sudden switch and they didn't have like all that stuff set up yet. So this year everything was set up. So it was like we were taking real tests, but it was all online. It was just weird. I also just hate online tests. I always have, because it's freshman year of high school. I took this history class and it's the worst I've ever done in a class in my entire life. And all of our tests are online. So I don't like online tests, moral of the story. So I had to find other ways to keep myself motivated because like we weren't required attendance or anything, but like you still wanted to go to class obviously. So I had to find ways to keep my spirits up, find new places to go study that would make me excited. Like I started going to the law library because that's like me manifesting. Just finding new and different ways to keep myself occupied when there's not as much going on. I also make it a point to always go to campus just to kind of remind myself, because campus is like, the physical campus itself is like one of the main reasons I came to UGA, because it's gorgeous and it's exactly what I like envisioned my college campus looking like. So I do make sure to go there every once in a while just to feel something. And it's helped a lot. Just being on campus, it makes it feel a little bit more real even though things are online. So yeah, that's a little spew on how I'm feeling. I have now realized that in about a week I'm going to be going into my last year, potentially, depending on where I go to law school, which might be here, who knows. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been 2 years already. One, people were always like, oh my gosh, college goes so quick, it's the best 4 years of your life, all of that stuff. And I was one of those people in high school that high school was forever for me. You could have told me high school was an entire decade because I didn't like it. It wasn't fun. And it felt like it just dragged on. That is not what college has been for me at all, which I'm very thankful for, but it also makes me really sad because it's like just going so quick. So I'm just trying to do my best to enjoy my time here, find things that I really enjoy while I have the freedom to do them, and just have a good time. Athens is so fun. Athens is great. UGA is great. I love it here. Go dogs. So I am really upset that this year is coming to a close. I've gotten really close with my roommates. They're so awesome, and I'm kind of sad that like I'll be moving out of my apartment in a couple months. I'm staying here this summer. So yeah, that's just how I'm feeling. Sorry this video was such a spew. I just kind of wanted to sit through and talk to you guys about how things are going at the moment at the end of my second year at UGA. I love you guys so very much, and I'm gonna vlog this week, so next week's video will be a little bit more involved than me sitting here in my Terry sweatshirt in my dirty room. If you're new here, I post videos every Sunday at noon Eastern time, and I would love it if you could subscribe down below to support me in my, oh my god. One more time. If you're new here, I post videos every Sunday at noon Eastern time, and I would love it if you could subscribe down below to support me and support my channel, and I will see you next Sunday at noon. See ya!